Hello and welcome back to Ottawa Experts. I'm your host, Barbara Balfour, and I'm so excited to introduce my next guest to you, renowned Hollywood actress. She's worked with the bigwigs, Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow, Adam Sandler. She's an international speaker on living your best life. She's a #1 best-selling author on Amazon and a baby boomer advocate. I'm so pleased to welcome Joanie Marx to Ottawa Experts tonight. Joanie, you've flown all the way from Los Angeles to be with us tonight. Thank you so much. We're so excited. And you've been so kind as to gift us with several copies of your best-selling book, Facelifts, Money, and Prince Charming. Joanie, you have some great tips on how to make friends based on your experience as an actress. Why don't we go through some of those tips? Take us through some of your words of wisdom and give us examples of how they work.
Well, I think one thing that's very important is that the reason that actors and movie stars have such cachet, it's very simple. When you are in their presence, they give you their full, undivided attention. They hone in on you, and you are bathed in their aura. What's happening in our world now is that no attention is given to anyone. Yeah, you're on your cell phone, you're texting, you're doing all that. There's so many distractions that you don't feel honored in that relationship. So what I call this chapter called the coffee date, but it could be a business one. It could be like with you and I when we met on Sunday. So the first thing I think you need to appreciate is that in the world, there's lots of things that are renewable, but your time on this earth is not. Nor is the person that you're meeting for this coffee date. So you need to be respectful that this person has agreed to meet you. So they're putting their time, which they never can get back, and they cannot renew it, to spend time with you. So you need to come from a point of view of gratitude for that. An actor knows why they are going into a scene, what they intend to accomplish in the scene, or what they expect from the other person. So it's a business thing. Do you want to transmit communication? Do you want to see, you might like to know this friend more? So you have to know what it is you want. Then you kind of figure out what do they want? Why are they meeting you? So that gives you some ideas.
Can you know this right from the get-go, or is it sort of a work in progress?
No, I think it really is right from the get-go. Okay. I mean, I think people sit down and then they're talking to you for 5 minutes and then they go, I don't know. And then they're looking over here and they're looking. So this is what I'm talking about. The energy is gone. One of the other things that actors do is when you say something in a scene, you have to watch it land on the other person. Then you have to see what their reaction is. So you're not just talking a barrage of words without understanding how are they being received by this other person. So these are universal, whether it's a romantic date or a business date or wanting to meet a new girlfriend. Then and you have to be able to listen. That's a very important one. There's very little listening that goes on in our society.
How do you become a good listener, or how can you be a good listener?
Oh, this is a really good one I got from an acting teacher. She said, you have to listen for what it is you want to hear.
That's interesting. What if you never hear what you want to hear?
I know, but at least you're listening for it. So that kind of keeps you in the moment. And the other big thing that actors talk about, you have to be in the moment. So while you're on this coffee date, you cannot be, wow, I'm here, I'm having this conversation. Gosh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And oh, they're not responding well to me. And okay, you can say the words, you can be in the situation, you can critique what you're doing, or you can be the audience, but you cannot do all three at once. So the best thing to do is stay in the situation and give the other person a chance to blossom. And then, this is a really good one. I learned this from acting. Okay, you go in and you meet a casting director and they say to you, tell us about yourself. Okay, the last thing they want to hear is, oh, I've always wanted to be an actor since I was 5. Boring. That's so boring. So what I came up with is you have to have, and you got to have this in your head, and you got to practice it, your story charming. You've got to tell a little story about yourself that reflects well on you, that shows up your good points, and gives the other person a little insight into you and gives them kind of a hook for what they could say back. So you don't say, oh, I'm almost retiring. Oh, my husband divorced me. Oh, I haven't had an audition in weeks, but gee, would you be my friend? That is not going to work.
So it's kind of like an elevator pitch.
It's an elevator pitch, yes. Maybe it's a little funnier, more humble, more human, but definitely charming. It's story charming.
Making friends, seeking out new friends, and being a good friend, it all has its roots in self-worth.
Yes, and that's one of the myths that we grew up with. If you don't do what your parents said, your teacher said, you weren't good, you weren't worthy. It was like, you're not following the rules. And so promotion of self-worth, I don't think it ever was talked about.
No, that's a fairly new phenomenon.
Yes, and so I think that's better. So I think that the people that will be reading this book that are like your generation, who were raised by my generation,
right,
will see how you got where you are. Some things are better, but a lot of these 7 myths are still there because we raised you because that's what we knew. So this book is a little bit about 3 generations: the grandparents, the parents, and the adult children. But self-worth is huge. So when you go in to meet somebody, you come with a bearing of openness, of I want to meet you, I want to get to know a little bit about you, and for the next hour, see how nice this is going to be. If it goes on beyond that, that's something else. So you can't have unrealistic expectations. You have to say, okay, I'm going to have this meeting, which is that one step on a 1,000-mile journey, and then you have to see what's going to happen, because it has to be reciprocal. Even a casual friendship has to be reciprocal. It can't be just you always calling them.
Otherwise you lose interest.
Yeah, and it also makes you feel badly.
Aren't I worth a phone call once in a while to see how I'm doing?
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Joanie, we're almost at the end of our show tonight. Any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
I am so glad I came to Ottawa. I'm glad that I am following my baby boomer advocacy guidelines myself.
You're practicing what you preach. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much, Joanie. It's been a real pleasure. We're really happy to have you here. Thank you so much.
If you're watching this video, you already know the importance of creating a memorable event. So get more than just another speaker. Book Joanie Marx as your next speaker today. Your audience will thank you for it.